Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Good Stories Podcast. I'm Jody, here with Steven. How are you tonight, brother?
I'm doing well.
Good. Excellent. I have news for you again. I just come up with new things every time. We have now a Substack account.
Really?
Have you heard of Substack?
I've heard of it. I don't really know what it is, but I'm excited to have one.
I'm the same, but I jumped in. People can go create stuff. So there's authors and podcasters and bloggers, all kinds of things. So yeah, there's some really cool stuff on it. And we have an account now because I figured why not? We create something.
Yeah.
So we're on Substack, Good Stories Podcast. It is very different than like Facebook or Instagram, which I like in a positive way because you can actually see people creating things, artwork and poetry. The Rabbit Room is on it. That's the one I first found. So it's really cool. We're on it now. So
All right. I like the Rabbit Room, so
agreed.
glad to be in a community with them.
I like how you're totally unaware. Like, okay, cool. We're working on it. And as always, thank you to whoever went in and gave us a good rating. Really do appreciate it. We've got a couple more this week. They make me so happy. If you're interested and willing to do so, on Apple, you have to scroll all the way down to the bottom. It's hard to find. I don't know why they put it there. And Spotify's at the top with the little 3 dots. But yeah, thank you for doing so. Really appreciate it. But today, I'm excited for this story today. It is wonderfully bizarre. We're jumping into the Discworld series, and we're starting at the beginning. It's The Color of Magic by Terry Pratchett. So The Color of Magic, I understand, was the first book published in 1983 in what would become an extensive collection. I read that there's more than 50 books describing the Discworld. I've read like 3 of them, so I have more to do, but they are super fun. Amazing to me that you can jump into the Discworld series anywhere. Each book can be read on its own or as part of the whole, which I think is just skillful to be able to do that. But there's something special about starting at the beginning and watching this crazy universe develop from scratch. So keep in mind, Discworld is not Earth. It is a flat disk spinning through space on the back of 4 continent-sized elephants. And they are standing on the shell of a giant turtle that I pronounce Atuin. That's his name, Atuin. This massive turtle, he walks slowly and steadily through the cosmos with his eyes fixed on some mysterious destination. We are told that he occasionally turns his massive head to snap at passing comets. It's a great source story for what Discworld is. And remember a while back, we discussed a point made by C.S. Lewis that in a different world, you might find absolutely anything. Anything. The possibilities are endless because the rules are different. It's a different world. Could be, or could be like, or could be very much not like what we're used to. And in this particular story, we encounter all kinds of things, including pockets of magic, some seriously deadly luggage, and even a brand new color that is described as the pigment of imagination. And it makes an 8th color of their rainbow, which is super cool. So get ready. It's time for a story.
Discworld is exactly that. It is a great disc held up on the backs of 4 mighty elephants, standing in turn on the back of a great turtle. The story starts in Ankh-Morpork, the legendary twin city where so many Discworld stories start. A man named Twoflower arrives in the city, loaded with gold and a magical piece of luggage. To everyone's confusion, he wants to see and experience everything. In short, he is Discworld's first tourist. The failed wizard Rincewind becomes his reluctant guide, and the two embark on an adventure that includes bar brawls, murders, heroes, dragons, demonic horrors, magical swords, and more than one close encounter with death himself. Woven into the story on a higher plane is a board game between the gods of Discworld, and as readers, we wait to see who will triumph, luck or fate.
It's very good, but I have to ask, what was the first word? You said barbarolls?
Bar brawls.
Bar brawls.
Fighting in bars.
I'm sorry. I was like, what's a barbarol? Bar brawl. Yes, absolutely. I hear it now. Sorry, brother.
No, it's all good. When did you discover Discworld? How long have you been reading these books?
Not very long. Came from you a few years back. So this is part, I think, of the Wizard series. So Color and Magic, and what's the next one?
The Light Fantastic.
Those are the two that I have read. And I feel like I read one of the Death books. Death is a character in this. He is hilarious. I mean, these are very funny books. They're very, light's the wrong word. They're enjoyable. They're easy to read. They make you chuckle. They make me chuckle. Death is funny.
Very much so. These books were introduced to me not that long ago either. It might have been 10 years ago-ish. I had a coworker who was a huge fan of Terry Pratchett and everything he did. And so I'm always looking for new stories and new books. And so I asked him, and he gave me his recommended list. He scrawled it out on a sticky note, and I started with The Color of Magic and just kind of kept going. I have not done the 40 plus books, but I've done probably about a dozen of them, and they've been fun. There hasn't been one that hasn't made me laugh on some level. Some I like more than others. And the first one, like I say, it's just a great place to start. It's a good introduction into the world. It's a good introduction to some of the characters. And I'm excited we're talking about it today.
Yeah, so this is the spoiler alert because we're going to go all the way through book one. It introduces Discworld and a bunch of the characters, but it always twists and turns. I mean, it's very unexpected.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it struck me reading through this time in preparation for the show is how much is really packed into this. I mean, it really keeps moving. It's a hoppin' book. I have described this series to other people. It's basically Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy in a fantasy setting, but with the added element of Dungeons and Dragons. Anybody who has played Dungeons and Dragons, almost every one of these books reminds me of a Dungeons and Dragons campaign or multiple campaigns. And that's kind of how you get all these different stories and all these different characters, but they'll pass each other. As you read through these stories, some of them characters from other books will be referenced, but just in passing. And if you've read the other book, it's really exciting. It really reminds me of a bunch of Dungeons and Dragons campaigns.
Yeah, it reminded me of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Richard Adams. Is that the right name?
Douglas, I think.
Douglas Adams. I get Richard and Douglas. It is Douglas Adams. Richard Adams is Watership Down.
Yeah.
I knew what I meant, just not what I said. Come on. But the parodies in this are hilarious. Like, if you ever watched Conan the Barbarian, oh man, so funny. The names in it, I mean, there's pieces of, even Star Trek in here, Lovecraft, Tolkien a little bit. There's just a lot of pieces of different things, but they're like a gentle nod. I find it more positive than Hitchhiker's Guide, not as an insult to Hitchhiker's Guide because it's great.
Oh yeah, but
it is a little more sarcastic. This is a little more like belly laugh chuckle.
Yeah, and legit jokes
Yep.
throughout it. I mean, over and over, I stop to chuckle because somebody wings off a one-liner or a strange reference. And, well, I'm sure we'll come up with some of those, but no way we're going to get to them all. It's a funny book.
It is funny. I did read a little bit about Terry Pratchett just prepping for this, and so I don't think he meant for this to turn into a series at all. The next one came out 3 years later, and it just blew up from there. And again, I haven't read a lot of these, so some people who have read more of them say that the tone changes over time. These couple at the beginning, they're very witty and warm and just funny. I think later on he deals with some bigger topics, but I think that he maintains that essence of just kind of being funny to read.
I feel so. The ones I've read, and again, I've read maybe a quarter of them, but yeah, there are different tones, but there's also different characters in different settings. And so the change in tone usually makes sense with the story he's trying to tell, but underneath it, his humor comes through. The humor is, I think, the great unifier of the Discworld is his sense of humor.
Yeah, so in starting Substack, I found someone who had just turned 40 and loves Terry Pratchett. his wife had gotten him all the books on his table when he came home from work that day on his 40th birthday. Like, that is a pretty big investment.
Yes.
If you think about because he has other ones that aren't Discworld, right? Like Going Postal. That's the one I've heard. It's in my to be read
Going
list.
Postal is Discworld.
Is it?
Yep, it takes place in the same world.
Are there non-Discworld ones then?
Yes. He probably most famously, he co-wrote the Good Omen series with Neil Gaiman. And he also wrote a few others that were not Discworld specifically, but far and away, the vast majority of his work has been Discworld.
So, fun things about Terry Pratchett. He was knighted by the Queen, which is just cool, but he smelted his own sword from ore that he dug from the ground himself. I mean, that is commitment.
That is. I respect that.
How would you learn? YouTube? Is that how would you learn to do that?
I'm sure you could do it on YouTube. I mean, I've watched enough Forged in Fire. Maybe I could come up with something.
But they're not mining ore.
No, they aren't.
I mean, the smelting of it's one thing, but the mining is another. But to be knighted with your own handcrafted sword is pretty cool. And that I saw a picture of him that he always wore a wide-brimmed black fedora, which made me think of Phineas and Ferb. So he's only an author when he's wearing the fedora, like Perry the Platypus. It's just author mode. Because he said it made him look more like an author. So
absolutely, totally did. Oh, that's great. He wasn't that old when he passed. I think he was 66 years old. I think Alzheimer's, early onset Alzheimer's. So yeah, we definitely lost something. Certainly a great talent when he passed in 2015. I think if I looked it up right.
Yeah, so this book is kind of 4 little stories hooked together. Mine called them novellas, which I think is a very grandiose term for Discworld stories. But yeah, Color of Magic. And you start with the prelude with the great, I say Atuin, the turtle. How do you say his name?
I have no good pronunciation. I say it 6 or 7 different ways, but I like Atuin. That's probably right. So we're going to go with that.
Yeah, and it does rhyme with Tatooine from Star Wars, which I think makes sense. A lot of his names are a direct nod to other fantasy, sci-fi movies. So I'm going with Tatooine, who's just super cool. At the beginning of each of the little novellas, they describe a different aspect of the turtle or the elephants. And it's how you can read them individually. They kind of stand on their own, even though you gain so much more context if you read it through. But
I love that the elephants have names too. So the names of the 4 elephants that bear the weight of Discworld on their shoulders are Beryllia, Tubal, Great Typhon, and Jerakeen.
Did you look up what they're for? I'm sure they're for something.
No, I didn't.
They're probably somebody out there is like, oh, that's from D&D or I don't know.
Oh, definitely. So I think that's something that will become clear as we talk through this book. I know a lot about Tolkien and Lewis and a bunch of these other authors that I can speak with knowledge and kind of sneer a little bit when people get things wrong.
Don't sneer.
I don't have that knowledge of Terry Pratchett. I've just enjoyed the books I've read. So for you Terry Pratchett enthusiasts, you are right. I am wrong. Correct us. Because there's going to be things that I just don't understand and things that go over my head on this. But I still enjoy it and still love it.
Yeah. 80s movies. I mentioned Conan, but there's also one named Kroll that I haven't seen. Have you seen it?
I have not, but the name Kroll also comes up in a Doctor Who serial series. So that's where I was thinking of Kroll.
Kroll, I believe, is a very young Liam Neeson, and there's like this boomerang weapon thing. It looked like a movie we would have watched, but I have not seen that one. But anyway, there's so many references in it. So if you know, just enjoy it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it starts in Ankh-Morpork, which is a hilarious name. And I did look up Ankh is Egyptian, the hieroglyph for life. So it's like dirty slug life. I don't know. It's not a complimentary name. And it turns out this is a chaotic city. It's a port city full of thieves and assassins and the seedy underbelly of Discworld, I guess.
Is Ankh-Morpork. I mean, that's what this city is. And this is really where the world building starts. It starts with the great turtle and the elephants, but then the city is fantastic. And I think it would be useful maybe here at the beginning to talk a little bit of Discworld geography and
Sure.
terms. It's a disc. It is a flat world, which means you have a rim and you have a hub. So they are often talking about direction as in rimward or hubward, whether you're going to the center of Discworld or whether you're going to the rim of Discworld. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
What I thought was much more interesting was the concept that these great oceans of Discworld, the waters, are turning, and they turn in a clockwise fashion around the great disk. And so you can talk about hubward, rimward, but you can also talk about the turn-wise direction, where if you're going around the disk in the same way that the waters flow. You can also talk about the opposite direction, and I love this term. There's turnwise, and then there is widdershin.
It's very British sounding to me.
It's great. I looked it up. It's actually Old High German.
Really?
It basically means turning against. And so historically, the phrase widdershins would refer to counterclockwise movement or a turn in a direction that's not considered appropriate. And so if somebody is doing something widdershins, they're kind of doing it wrong. They're not going with the grain or the way it's supposed to go. But it's a formal direction in Discworld is to go widdershins.
It's counterclockwise. Anti-clockwise, I've also heard that one, but maybe that's just a different cultural thing. Anti-clockwise, counterclockwise, but yes. There's also, because it is a disc and it's covered in water, and all the waters and seas have names, we'll learn more about that, but there's a rimfall that comes up later. But I love it. The waters are constantly pouring over the edge of Discworld. Mm-hmm. Turns out there's a rim bow the whole time because there's always water and light happening. It's actually really beautiful. He tucks these descriptions in, and it makes it very clear, even though this is a entirely new world.
Mm-hmm. People have obviously made fan art about this, and some of it is stunning. I mean, truly beautiful what they've done. When I first started reading through these, though, I had heard this concept before, the idea of the world on the back of a turtle. Mm-hmm. And then I remembered where I first heard it.
The King and I.
The King and I.
Everyone knows that the world is carried on the back of a giant turtle. Yeah.
Apparently. I did some more homework on this, though, to try and figure out, okay, where's that story? Where does this come up? And it actually shows up in several cultures, most prominently in Hindu culture, but also in some of the Native American tribal cultures and a few other parts and places around the world. I couldn't find a great story describing it, though. I was trying to read through some of the Hindu texts, and there's one on Vishnu that got referenced in some of the sources I looked at, but when I actually looked at the text, it doesn't specifically describe this. It does describe a turtle that's thought to be the world turtle, but it doesn't clearly outline a turtle with elephants on his back. But apparently this is part of oral tradition and culture and mythology. I just haven't been able to find a kind of work that highlights it clearly. So that's my brief research. It may be out there, but I couldn't find it.
It's because it's a different world. Anything could happen. But The King and I is a wonderful musical. If you wanted to go, I've only seen the older one. Maybe someday we should watch newer movies, but
should we?
I don't know. Yul Brynner is the King of Siam. He is so excellent at it.
I don't feel, if Yul Brynner does a movie, I really don't feel like I need to see a remake of it. I mean, he's fantastic.
He is fantastic. Anyway, all that to say, there are descriptions of not only the characters, but the geography. We also learned that there's a counter continent.
Oh, we're going to come to that, though.
It's important to know that it is separate from this seedy underbelly city of Discworld called Ankh-Morpork.
And how appropriate is it that when we first discover Ankh-Morpork, it's in flames?
Terrible fire. The whole place is burning. There's heroes. I quoted in the air, heroes watching. Heroes in Discworld are not how we think of heroes. They're more like bandit pirate guys who can fight. Mm-hmm. Yes?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the first heroes we meet, their names will give you an indicator. Barovd the Hublander and the Weasel.
The Weasel. And he steals stuff. They steal stuff.
If you're looking for nobility and virtue, this is not the book for you. This is more like what happens when you take either normal or slightly shady people and throw them in these situations, and what are they going to do? And that lends itself to humor.
Yeah, hit him with magic and all kinds of things happen. So yes, the place is on fire. And there are a bunch of names in this, but the ones you really need to remember are Rincewind. He's coming out of this burning city, and Twoflower, who's trying to stay on a horse, but clearly cannot ride it. These are our main characters. They have funny names. I don't think they mean anything. They're just great.
And I've come to love both of them. I really like, they've got good personalities. It's definitely an odd couple type scenario where they just riff off each other. Rincewind is a wizard, but he is not a very good wizard. And as the story progresses, we'll learn more of his history and maybe why he's not a very good wizard. But even if he's not a good wizard, he does have skills. He's a survivor in his own right. He's not brave, he's not courageous, he's not noble, but he does what he has to do to survive. And he has a gift for languages and communication.
And he knows people. He recognizes these two heroes watching this town burn. And he basically asks if they have anything to eat, anything to drink. He's constantly running away and gets pulled back in, and constantly looking for something to eat and something to drink. Like he has his priorities clear. But he tells the story of why the city is on fire. And he says, it's the guy on the horse. It's Twoflower's fault. He's the guy who started it.
And there was one other thing. It was his fault. But what really caused this was the reflected sound as of underground spirits.
And it's said in italics and hyphenated, and I really did not get it. It's chapters in before you learn, pages in before you learn what it means. Say it again.
Reflected sound as of underground spirits. This is a good example of the humor of Discworld, how things are just a little skewed and a little twisted. So the reflected sound is echo, and then the underground spirits are gnomes. So the actual word that he is translating from Twoflower into their speech is something that sounds like economics. Economics. So this entire thing ends up being a financially, economically derived tragedy from the innocent Twoflower.
So to explain, Twoflower is our tourist. He's this man who shows up on the docks. So Rincewind is going back. He's telling the story of how this happened. This man, Twoflower, shows up on the docks with a little book. And it's conveyed so well where like somebody greets him and the tourist says, ? Or exclamation point. There's no actual words. He has to open this little book and come up with a translation. He does not speak the language. And he says to this man on the docks, I wish to be directed. Oh, I have to say it slowly because he's translating. I wish to be directed to a hotel, tavern, lodging house, inn, hospice, caravanserai. What?
Say again.
He does.
Yeah. Slower and louder, as all good tourists do.
If you say it slower, they'll get it. But it turns out this guy has gold. And this is a town that is full of bandits and poor people. They want and like and will take your gold. It's also a very violent place. People die a lot.
Almost immediately, we start to meet the different guilds, these different groups, including a guild of thieves, a guild of assassins. I mean, there's all these groups, and the gold that Twoflower is throwing around, it gets noticed quickly, and people start to look for him.
Yeah, this guy takes Twoflower to a bar with a room upstairs because he hands him gold. And this gold is no joke. He hands him gold that is worth basically, 4 times the value of his bar. And he's like, I don't know if that's enough. His perception of wealth and value is just wildly bigger than everyone else in this city.
And it talks about how all these characters can sense money. They've got this extra sense of somebody has money and I can get it. Yes. I can take it away through whatever means that is effective. And one of these people is Rincewind. And as I said before, Rincewind is a wizard. And that carries with it some cachet in this society. He's got the robes of a wizard. He's got actually a symbol that indicates he went to the unseen university, the big school that wizards go to. But again, he doesn't do magic. He's got no spells that he can speak or practice. He's not a very good wizard.
He's a failed wizard.
Yeah, he flunked out of school. They got rid of him fairly quickly.
There's a lot in here between the idea of magic on Discworld and Twoflower's idea of economics, the reflected sound as of underground spirits. So economics versus magic kind of get shoved together as they go. But Rincewind is in this bar where they take Twoflower, the tourist, and he's not looking at the guy. I don't even think he's looking at the gold. He's looking at the tourist's luggage. Because he is a wizard. He knows some things, and he recognizes sapient pear wood. When he sees it, this luggage is the best thing ever. So here's a quote from Pratchett, the author, who said that he wanted to create the most dangerous travel accessory ever invented.
Success. This luggage is awesome. My favorite character in Discworld is probably Mighty Tatooine. My second favorite character, Death. My third, the luggage.
It doesn't speak. It is a chest. It's like the carpet bag in Mary Poppins. Evidently, it can fit endless amounts of things. It also has teeth and like millions of little legs. It can transport itself, and it is impervious to magic or damage, seemingly of any kind. It will eat anyone who threatens its master, and it will follow its master anywhere. You wouldn't think it would come up in a plot very much. It has a very important role throughout this book.
Yes. Twoflower would not have survived this long without it, let alone the rest of the story and upcoming stories as well. It is incredible. The luggage is wonderful, but it's also the value of it is what Rincewind first notices, because he describes how master wizards, after a lifetime of training, will sometimes get like a small sapient pear wood wand, and the value of that is just unbelievable. This is an entire traveling trunk. I think he estimates that you could buy the entire city with the value of this luggage alone. He said even if it was stuffed with like gold and jewels, the luggage itself would be more valuable than whatever you could put inside it.
Seemingly, it is stuffed with pure gold.
and socks.
And socks. Twoflower's, he's throwing around gold. His socks stay in the luggage. But Rincewind comes and tries to talk to this tourist because he sees this high-value thing. And Rincewind is very good with languages. Yeah, Rincewind tries a couple different languages that don't fly.
Apparently, they both speak the language of Trobe. It says that Rincewind tried this actually in desperation because it's kind of an absurd language. It's the language of savages, but they both speak it. It's neither of their first languages. Twoflower actually speaks a different language, but he can speak Trobe. And this line here, I think, gives a good example of their communication. "At last," he said, "my good sir, this is remarkable." Although in Trobe, the last word in fact became a thing which may happen but once in the usable lifetime of a canoe, hallowed diligently by axe and fire, from the tallest diamondwood tree that grows in the noted diamondwood forest on the lower slopes of Mount Iwaya, home of the fire gods, or so it is said.
I had to read that twice. Means it's rare.
I love how the direct translation is just insane.
Yeah, I wrote down a couple of those. They're excellent, and they contextualize everything. So he too makes languages in other cultures. But here, Twoflower can actually talk to somebody. And he's talking to Rincewind, the failed wizard. And he basically hires him, says, I will give you a gold piece a day. Ooh, that's rude. You got a lot going on. More than that even. Daily. Like, this is an absurd amount of money. And Twoflower just throwing it around. Like, Rincewind is on board for the amount of gold. at least initially. So Twoflower tells him that he saved for 8 years to make this happen.
Right.
It's just this untold amount of wealth in this place.
But he describes himself as a very poor
Yeah.
in his home. He's not wealthy. He's not important. He's just a normal dude, but he saved for this, and he's willing to spend it all.
So it turns out he is the first, I think, ever visitor from the counter continent. And this makes the wizard's eyes pop. In my mind, the counter continent is like the land of Midas. I mean, just the gold there is so pure. Everything is so wealthy. It becomes devalued because everyone is so wealthy there. That is not the case on Discworld.
Right. Well, not in Ankh-Morpork. The counterweight continent is worth mentioning just a little bit about that. It's smaller than the continent that Ankh-Morpork is on, but it's heavy. That's how it can be a counterweight. And the reasons it's heavy is the gold and octariron.
Octarin. I say octarin.
Okay.
That's the color of magic.
But the octarin is the color of magic, but I think there's octar iron. So it's like a magical iron so it's not all gold.
There's also magical metal.
Yeah. But apparently this is a myth. So Rincewind says that it's legendary. They didn't believe it was true, that it was an actually thing. Nobody's been there, at least he hasn't been. And so it was quite shocking to him to learn about this.
Oh, yes. And Twoflower, he doesn't think his gold is even worth stealing because he doesn't have that much. In his mind, he brought just enough to make the trip happen. But he says, I'm here. Worth every half a renew. That's his monetary unit, thank you. He says, I mean, here I am in Ankh-Morpork, famed in song and story, in the streets that have known the tread of Herrick Whiteblade, Hrun the Barbarian, Bravd the Hublander, and the Weasel, just as I imagined it. I mean, this place is seedy and dirty, and Rincewind knows these guys. He's like, they have stories? They're not good guys. Twoflower is so stoked about everything. He wants to see the Beggars Guild and the dirty streets, and just everything is picturesque and wonderful. He's stoked.
While he's starting this process and Rincewind is happy to start showing him around, he's already given out some gold. I mean, he gave out gold to a beggar and to other people, and this is where that seedy underbelly of Ankh-Morpork starts moving, because they test it. They take the gold, because they've never seen a coin like that, and they test it. And this alchemist guy says, oh, yeah, this isn't really like our money. And at first they think that means that it's fake. And he said, no, you misunderstand me. Our money is debased. We put all sorts of other things in it. This is pure gold. This starts to get those different guilds excited, particularly the Thieves Guild is really stoked about it. And again, we won't say all the funny jokes in here, but I love this one, so I'm going to say it. There is the leader of the Thieves Guild, a man named Emor, and he's got a second in command, a right-hand man, and it's hard being a right-hand man to the leader of the Thieves Guild. It says, being Emor's right-hand man was like being gently flogged to death with scented bootlaces. These are jokes that are just rolling through this.
Oh, this sounds great. So Rincewind, I think Twoflower goes up for the night, but he's like, tomorrow we're going touring. It'll be great. I know you have a plan. Rincewind runs away. He feels like he's gonna die because he's been given some of this gold. It says he can feel the back of his neck start to itch, like a sword's gonna come get him. He runs.
Yes, he does.
But the leader of the town, turns out there is some government. They received a pelican. Evidently, the countercontinent and Ankh-Morpork do communicate with pelican, which I think is very funny. And the leader of this city has been told by the countercontinent to protect Twoflower at all costs. And so Rincewind must stay and be this guy's guide. He's sure he's going to die. I mean, he just wants to run away. And the governor says, no, I've already told the other cities, so you're stuck.
Yeah, you can't go anywhere. And this gets really complicated. I mean, you've just heard us mention all sorts of names and people and their storylines crossing. This is what I mean, though, about this feels like a Dungeons and Dragons campaign. Because imagine you're in a group with, 5 people, and each of you has a character, and you're your main character in this story. It's sort of the life that comes out of this, that even these small, very minor characters in the background are interesting, and they're a lot of fun. There's just one more character that I want to mention that will only meet once here and then goes away. But there's a fortune teller, and like most of the people in this book, she's not very good at it. She's unsuccessful. She's poor, but she screams. She does some fortune telling thing and she screams and she runs away, sells all her stuff, and goes somewhere else because she has seen the coming flames and fire of Ankh-Morpork just going away. But again, the last line here, the fact that later on, when her house collapsed in flames, she herself died in a freak landslide in the Morpork Mountains, proves that death, too, has a sense of humor.
He does.
He'll show up.
So next day they're going on tour around the city, and Rincewind is reluctant and Twoflower is stoked. Twoflower has this picture box. It's a camera, but not like you think of as a camera. It's run by this little imp thing, like a little demon.
He paints.
He paints the pictures and they take them. And Rincewind actually becomes kind of comfortable with this picture box because he realizes that people will do exactly what you tell them when you point it at them. Because he's like, okay, stand still and smile. And it works. People do. This useless box that doesn't hurt anybody, they will do whatever you tell them to do. Isn't that true?
Indeed. I love the little imp in the picture box because when this first comes out, Rincewind tells some other people to post and he says, yeah, there's a demon in the box that's going to paint your picture. Just go with it. And then that's true. It's actually what's going on. And then, of course, again, so many jokes. It's just so many funny little turns in this one. Rincewind and Twoflower end up taking far too many rather naughty pictures. And so after that, they go
There's slave markets.
Slave markets.
They took lots of pictures of girls.
Yes. So later they go to take a picture of something and the demon knocks out of the door and says, nope, can't do it. I ran out of pink.
Should have thought that through.
Before you took all those pictures of girls. It's just fantastic.
They do have a conversation. Twoflower's like, am I paying too much? Am I being a dummy? He's like, yeah, they might have settled for less. I mean, he is doling out gold that would buy the city times over. And Rincewind's like, yeah, they might have taken a little less. Like, oh, I knew it. Knew he was getting duped as a tourist. But Twoflower tells him, I don't take risks, though. I assess risks day after day. He's an insurance agent. He assesses risk for a living, and he was so bored. But apparently he's pretty good at it in the counter continent. But here's where Rincewind says something about magic. Here's about magic. Twoflower says, magic's one thing, and reflected sound of underground spirits is another. Mm-hmm. Rincewind has no idea what he's talking about.
No.
But basically it's magic versus economics, gold, value. I mean, it's hilarious. It's really good.
And even the insurance doesn't start as insurance. The word that Rincewind hears is in sewer ants.
He has not a clue.
In sewer ants? What's that? But Twoflower, though he's on vacation, is kind of a grinder. He's still willing to do some work and to assess risk. And so he starts talking with the innkeeper and explaining policies, and he's trying to explain this whole insurance thing, and the guy's like, so it's a bet. It's like, well, yeah, it's kind of a bet, yeah. So they're into betting in Ankh-Morpork. So he gets his first customer through the innkeeper,
and he values the inn at 1,000 times more than it's what it's worth. I mean, his perception is still not correct. But at some point, there's a brawl, because there's brawls all the time. If people are dying and Twoflower ends up back at the bar, Rincewind ends up somewhere with a picture box.
And the luggage.
Because he thinks, oh, the luggage is bonded to me now. No, it's just following him to take him back to his master. But It's funny that Rincewind has a conversation with the imp.
Yeah.
Where he basically says, wish I had been better at magic. I just thought it'd be more useful. I thought it would harness lightning or something. And the imp chimes in with, lightning is the spears hurled by the thunder giants when they fight. Established meteorological fact. You can't harness it. This imp is reciting facts to this guy.
That's right.
Meteorological ones about spears hurled by thunder giants.
He's a spunky little guy,
He
the imp.
is.
It's during some of these conversations that I think we finally learn about the great spell. Because we start learning about magic. We start learning about how that works in Discworld. And it's really interesting. It's not that you just learn a spell and then you know it. Like, a spell takes something out of you. And then often once you say a spell, you have to relearn it because you've used it up, kind of thing.
There are laws of conservation in this world, but they're different than ours.
Mm-hmm. There's also exquisite studies being done on magic. So at the Unseen University, there's all sorts of experiments going on, finely tuned. There's the magical waves and nexuses and flows and currents that are being manipulated and shaped and studied and honed. It's actually why the wizards tend to hate the heroes. Because his heroes usually have like a magical sword or something that they walk in, and just the presence of that magical object totally screws up all the delicate settings of all their experiments. Well, in his university days, studying to be a wizard, apparently Rincewind was bet that he wouldn't go look in one of the dangerous spell books. And we learned there's a very dangerous, very powerful, very old book called the Octavo. The number 8 is going to keep coming up over and over. Octave, obviously, is 8, so the Octavo is a book of 8. He looks in it, and the spells are alive, and it jumps into his brain. So there is one of the great spells hiding in his brain to the point that he now can't learn any other spell because this one great spell is in there. At first, he thought it was taking up too much space, but at some point in here, he says, no, it's because all the other spells are scared of it. And so this is why he's a failed wizard, even though he has one of the most powerful spells in all of history implanted in his brain.
But he doesn't know what it is. And he doesn't know what it does. He doesn't know if it, stops time or destroys the universe. But when he's feeling trapped or scared, it tries to leap out of his brain. So that's a problem for him when he gets tense. But they're heading back to the bar to get Twoflower because the luggage demands it. He is not allowed to run away. The luggage will make sure of it, or he will eat Rincewind brutally. I mean, it is not a nice way to go. But they actually use gold as bait. They roll it in front of all these warriors and bad guys who are going to try to kill each other. And inside the bar, I think they're all dead. They've killed each other already. And then more come in. And that's when Twoflower and Rincewind run away upstairs. I mean, it is a bloodbath in there.
The brawl is pretty great because we've already talked about the Thieves Guild. They are in on this and they are ready to act. But one other switch that's happened is not everyone in the counterweight continent likes the idea of this tourist. And so even though that first message was that Twoflower had to be saved, the patrician of the city gets a second message that says, no, he has to die now. And this brings in the Assassins Guild. And so now you've got the Thieves Guild and the Assassins Guild. But the other thing that's happening is that Twoflower's throwing money around all over the place. And the different merchants and things in the city like this because they're making money. And so they don't want Twoflower dead. They want him alive so he can keep giving them gold. And so they immediately form the Guild of Merchants and Traders, which shows up at the inn with trolls.
Economics, people.
Yeah. So you have this three-way battle going between these different guilds. And yeah, they end up all killing each other. And it's after that the watch shows up to settle it.
Yeah. They take their time.
They don't want to get in the middle of that.
It is here we also learn that wizards, even failed ones, are sensitive to the 8th color, the new color, octarine. They can see things other people cannot, including death. And here where there's, swords flying around and people are being killed right and left, I think Death shows up to have a chat with Rincewind.
Says it had to be Death. No one else went around with empty eye sockets. And, of course, the sigh over one shoulder was another clue.
Scythe.
See, my wife criticized my pronunciation when I said that last night. And so now I don't even know how I'm going to say it.
Scythe. You got it.
That bladed thing on a pole?
Yeah. But every time Death speaks, it's in all caps, and it describes how heavy everything he says is. It's like it's immeasurable weight. But the barman who just signed this insurance policy, this bet that his place wouldn't burn down, he understood it like, okay, so if my bar gets burned down, I will get paid. He is torching his bar. And Death shows up with I think a match to light it off. He's like, here you go.
Here, take this.
The thing explodes. I mean, Rincewind and Twoflower are running. Fortunately, the luggage has legs, so it comes with him.
And when this fire explodes, it spreads through the city because it's not like this is an efficiently constructed city. There's no fire codes. There's no fire department. The whole thing just starts to torch. And then you get into things like stored magic tanks. You get to things like the rivers that are just pure sewage and will light on fire.
Gaseous.
I mean, the whole thing just go. And apparently it's quite beautiful.
Yeah.
But pretty bad.
And Twoflower, he's so optimistic. He's like, exciting, isn't it? Like, he always wanted to see a bar brawl. There's this fire going. It's so beautiful. But he is a little sad. He's like, man, we were getting along so well. All those men who either wanted his gold or wanting to kill him, he's like, we were just getting to know each other. It's unfortunate, man.
And wasn't it just before this that Rincewind lies to him? There's these people in the tavern, and Twoflower's like, who are they? And he's like, oh, those are heroes.
Yeah. Obviously.
And so they take pictures together.
And that's kind of they make it out of the city, but Twoflower cannot ride a horse. It's embarrassing. And Rincewind basically tells those heroes outside, like, yep, that's what happened. It's this guy's fault. So they're heading into the city to see if they make something of it,
Right.
benefit from it. But the weasel steals this gold round thing. Twoflower is always looking at this gold round thing. Turns out it's a pocket watch, and the hero takes it on his way away, getting away from him. And it's funny because it's actually driven by an imp. Another little demon thing runs his pocket watch, and the imp yells at the weasel. So he chucks it and says, let's go find some honest enchantments. He doesn't like this thing. It's so good. That's just the beginning.
Yeah.
I mean, that's because he's painting this whole picture. It's so much is jammed into that, really, to just set the scene.
Yeah. And obviously, we skipped a lot. Read it. It's wonderful. You'll laugh.
It's not a super long book. It just has a lot in it.
And in some ways, I find that first novella, that first part of it, to be the most dense and intricate.
Well,
I
economics,
think
brother. It's like, I'm talking about values here.
Fair enough.
Supply and demand. I mean, it's a thing.
The next part of this, though, I totally love because now we get into the gaming board of the gods. Like most things in Discworld, you can't think of these gods the way you would think of gods in other stories. These are small gods. These are not capital G gods. These are beings of greater power than the mortals down on Discworld, but they've got their own quirks, their own weaknesses, their own twists, and they're playing games. And what else would they play games with but with the souls of the mortals?
Sure. Yeah. It says they would have been better gods if they hadn't been put in charge of a place that's on the extreme ends of the improbability curve. So it's not entirely their fault. But there's names again that are great. I like that Zephyrs is the god of slight breezes. He doesn't really have a role. It's just a good name.
Offler, the crocodile god.
Blind Io. Chance, Night, and Destiny. They're all players, but they got out early. Yeah. They were not good.
There are two big players, and the two that are going to take us through the rest of this. Fate, seems pretty self-explanatory, and the Lady. and we will learn more about the lady. Here, we pretty much learn that the odds are against her, and she has green eyes.
So they're traveling onto the new town. Rincewind and Twoflower are traveling together, and Twoflower is delighted. Everything is picturesque, which is a new word to Rincewind, also quaint. Rincewind says that means towns that are fever-ridden and tumble down. Quaint. He's using the picture box like crazy. And they're starting to get to know one another. And it says that Rincewind does like the tourists, does like Twoflower. He's insane, but he's also super generous and far less lethal than anyone else he's ever met. It said that disliking him would be like kicking a puppy. Twoflower is very likable.
Yes, he is. As they are traveling, though, weird things start to happen. Now, those of us who know that there are gods gaming, it makes some sense, but to Rincewind and Twoflower, why a troll should all of a sudden pop up in the road in front of them, they got no clue.
And I also hear dice. Like, what was that? Oh, dice rolling. And then this angry troll out of nowhere.
Twoflower, of course, thinks it's all delightful. This is how exciting.
He's always wanted to see an angry troll.
Rincewind is actually pretty cool here in this. He has a sword, apparently, and it says he takes the sword and very coolly arcs his hand forward and throws it and completely misses. But it hits a rock, swings back, and by pure luck stabs the troll in the back, and they are saved.
Amazing. The descriptions of Rincewind doing these dramatic gestures, like acts of heroism and bravado that totally fail, are hilarious. But this one, there's a game going on, so it works out.
That's right. The two end up getting separated.
The horse is Spook. They each had a horse. The horse is Spook. So Twoflower now, he's lost, but it says he's not unduly worried. Because
He never is.
No, the forest is very interesting. He hopes to meet an elf or a goblin or maybe even a dragon. He says that his horse charged through and it upset like a mama bear and her cubs and a wolf pack, but he's fine. He's fine. But he stands up and he's looking at the stone and suddenly it like makes itself readable. The description's really good. How like he knows he's not actually reading it, but something about it is speaking to his mind. It is an 8-legged carving. He's like, oh, that sounds good.
Yeah, interesting. Fascinating.
It's directions to a temple.
Yeah, and he's on his way. Rincewind is not having as good a time. He usually doesn't have as good a time. When we next meet him, he's hanging from a tree branch. There are some angry wolves that have been spooked by someone.
And he had to deal with these bears. The animals that Twoflower messed with inadvertently are now Rincewind's problem. But there's wolves below him. He's hanging from a tree. But his real worry is the snake.
Yeah. Well, and one other worry, our good friend Death shows up again. Now, we had said that Rincewind, as wizards do, can see death, but it's actually a little bit more than that. And I can't remember if we explained this. By virtue of being a wizard, death will always show up at the death of a wizard.
Personally.
He won't pass it off to, disease or plague or his other minions. Death will show up. And so as Rincewind sees death, it's not a good sign for him, especially as he's hanging from the tree with the snake and wolves, and it's just not looking good.
But again, there's a game going on. I like that Death says, it won't hurt. He's like, you don't know. Maybe it will. But he's hanging onto this tree and the bark is getting peeled back. But amazingly, a hornet's nest falls from the branch onto these wolves and they run off. But he's still falling down this tree as it's breaking in front of him. He is saved by green hands reaching through the tree to save him. It is a hamadryad.
We meet dryads. I love dryads. I love the tree people. So a dryad is the spirit of a tree, but it's really more than that. A dryad usually has kind of a humanoid form, and a tree form. It's both at once. So in some ways makes me think of ents, but an ent is only ever one form, whereas a dryad can be the tree or can be a humanoid. and they're both at the same time. So, for example, here where Rincewind has ripped the branch off the tree, that has actually injured the human form of the dryad. She's got a long kind of scrape on her from where she took the injury that happened to the tree.
Yeah, and she actually tells Rincewind that, hey, it's okay, but I think your friend needs your help. And the Hamadryad, I should say the Hamadryad, we met one back when we did Mary Poppins, but that was confusing because that was a snake.
Yeah.
This is not a snake. Maybe she can take that form. Maybe that was part of the snake in the tree. I don't know. This is not a snake. She's a green girl who her essence is the tree. Turns out it's pretty nice in the tree. It's like a palace, and Rincewind he's like, I had no idea this was all in here. And she's like, aren't you a wizard? You should have known. Oh, you're a failed wizard. Right?
Oh, there it is.
But she tells him that Twoflower is gone to the temple of Bel-Shamharoth. Says that Rincewind's ears tried to crawl into his head in terror of the syllables he had just heard. Apparently, this is not good.
And before this, we actually have a flashback or a cutscene back to the gods gaming. And at this point, Fate and the lady are going at it. And Fate pulls out a character. It's like a little board piece. And it is all tentacles and evil and darkness. And she is shocked by this. She says, I thought such as he died out at the beginning of time. She said, mayhap our necrotic friend was loath even to go near this one, laughed Fate. He was enjoying himself. It should never have been spawned. So whatever this piece that Fate is playing, it ain't good. And he actually offers to the lady, do you want to resign? And she simply replies back, play.
She too has a chip. She plays a true hero. You should just know he's coming.
He's so great.
So Rincewind knows he has to go to this terrifying temple, and the lady says, you're going to go. You won't live long, but we're going to send you, or we're going to watch. I can't remember. But the terror in his mind wakes up that spell.
Yeah.
And he's trying not to say. He's biting his tongue. Even his words are slurred because he's trying to bite his tongue and not say the words to this horrible spell stuck in his brain. He tells her to read his mind. And she does. And she's like, kill him now.
Yeah, that spell, whatever it is terrifying. And these dryads are powerful creatures. We learn a little bit about dryad culture because there's this woman dryad, and then there are also male dryads. And this confuses Rincewind at first. He's like, I thought you were all women. And I love the response. Stupid. Where do you think acorns come from?
Don't be dumb.
But yeah, she reads the spell, and it needs to be death for Rincewind because that spell is just too dangerous.
Yeah, the dryads, though, they have started this like magical cylinder. They can actually see into the temple. And this is where we see the hero. He's like inching along in this temple. Evidently, that's just what heroes do. Day in the life. You're just in this evil temple going to like find a damsel or make some money or something, kill something evil. I don't know.
The way he describes heroes, they are just the stupidest jock frat boys is the way to think about them. All muscles, no brain, just working off of pure emotion, mostly anger and homicidal mania. I mean, they're just, they're so good.
This guy, we learn later, his name is Hrun the Barbarian. It is entirely a play off of Conan the Barbarian. I am not recommending that movie. I haven't seen it in such a long time, nor do I wish to. But this is entirely a play off of Conan. But this dryad is terrified by the spell in Rincewind's mind. And so he bolts. What he does is run. And often that works out well for him because he runs into this magical cylinder where they're looking in the temple. It actually transports him. We flip over to Twoflower, who's wandering through this place, not terribly worried.
No.
Many eights. There's like 8-sided everything, like so weird. But he sees like a little tiny man coming toward him. And then it's like a doll-sized man, and then it's like half-sized man, and then it's Rincewind falling on him.
Yeah. Hey, that looks like Rincewind.
It's like a magical portal. We learned that this temple's name is the Soul Eater. I mean, it says he wasn't evil, for even evil has a certain vitality. The Soul Eater was the flip side of the coin, of which good and evil are but one side. I actually think this is from Lovecraft, which I'm not super familiar with either, but
I think it probably
another nod.
is.
Another nod here. One more thing on the dryads. They're walking through the tree at some point. He's like, what's that sound? She's like, that's the tree living. It makes sound. He can hear the life of the tree from the inside, which is just beautiful. Again, it's just tucked in there. It's like 2 sentences. Yeah. Really lovely. It's a great book. But now they're stuck in this temple. And as soon as Rincewind gets to Twoflower, he's like, don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say the number that's between 7 and 9. Don't say 4 and 4. You cannot say the word 8.
We might get out alive. We might get out as long as you don't say it. And he talks about that when he was at the Unseen University, his room was actually 7A.
Unsurprised.
Yeah. So 8 is just forbidden. They cannot say, wizards cannot say the word 8.
It's a joke that says, don't say it or you'll be 8 alive. Like eaten alive, 8 alive.
I get it.
So there's jokes about 8, even though in this place, it is not funny. I love it. He's like, don't say it. Don't say it. Hrun, the barbarian, shows up. He's actually been chasing the luggage. The luggage has made its way along the temple with Twoflower.
He saw gold in it.
Yeah.
Lots of gold. And it's not just Hrun. So Hrun also has a new sword.
A magical one named Kring. Again, you don't remember all the names. They're just fun. We like them, so we send them. Or so we say them. But turns out Kring the sword is made from a thunderbolt, and he will suffer no scabbard. It's so cool. But Kring is full of stories and advice. And as soon as the barbarian shows up, Rincewind's like, don't say it. Don't say the number. And the sword is like, I wonder why we can't say 8.
Stupid sword.
Stupid sword wrecks it. Like, they're going to die now.
And that triggers everything because this, was it Belshamoth? I don't remember the name.
Let's go with Soul Eater.
The Soul Eater is now awoken. It is coming out with tentacles and power, ready to just consume. Well, Hrun starts slashing with a sword because he's a hero, and that's what heroes do. Meanwhile, Twoflower has got to get a picture of this. And we find his camera has an attachment. He's got a flash, but they don't describe it as a flash. They talk about this like little box, a cage with lizards in it.
Little magic lizards.
What's going on with this? As this Soul Eater is growing and the tentacles are coming out and everything is looking very, very dark, the lizards start to glow. Their tails turn bright, bright, bright white. And then there is a flash. Yes, this is the camera's flash. It's the magical salamanders who are creatures of fire, and apparently they feed on magical energy. There is so much magical energy with the Soul Eater that the flash that comes out of these is not just blinding to mortals, but it is enough to drive the Soul Eater down into another dimension. It flees because of Twoflower's camera accessory. It's brilliant.
It is a nod, I think, to Shelob at the end of Two Towers.
I think could be.
With the light flying, firing off in his eyes. And so, yes, he is sucked away interdimensionally. But that means this temple starts to fall apart. It says it's now left to the ravages of time. It's no longer supported by this evil creature. But they have a hero.
And he's excited because since the monster is gone, there must be treasure. Mm-hmm. He kind of gives up on the luggage, which is good for him because he would lose that one. But he starts digging at treasure and he gets some, but he also gets them away. They flee in time. He
calls his horse. The luggage, of course, comes with them. And they make it out of this crumbling, surely we're going to die place. I mean, it's amazing. Happy ending. But now they're stuck with a hero.
Right.
And Twoflower's stoked. We have a hero. He'll protect us.
As they're escaping, Death is again very disappointed. He actually leaves with the line, "I'll get you yet, Cully."
It's gonna
And
happen.
I meant to look that up. I wonder if that's a quote from something.
I think it's a
didn't look it
general
up, but-
name, like someone easily gettable. I don't know. On the outside, though, Twoflower's stoked about the hero. Rincewind is nervous because he's gonna kill them.
Right.
That's what heroes do in this world. But he's like, no, we have what heroes really want. They have a picture box. They can take pictures of Hrun the Barbarian. He loves it. He's like, they really only like themselves. So the hero agrees to protect them in exchange for pictures of himself. And if you remember, this was a game between the gods. Fate loses this round, and Death doesn't get Rincewind. It works out after all of that. Oh, man.
And thus ends novella 2. I was reading somewhere that somebody asked Terry Pratchett about chapters, like why he didn't put chapters in his books, and he said, I could never really figure them out. I just tell the stories. And so now we are into the third of the novellas, The Lure of the Worm. W-Y-R-M. The Worm.
There is a thing called the Wormberg. It says it's a half-mile high, upside-down mountain. And it is full of magic and actually dragons. They're supposed to be extinct. So are dryads. All these things are supposed to be extinct. Turns out in the history of Discworld, there were mage wars, which is so cool. And places that got blasted with magic still retain some of it. So there's these pockets of things that aren't the case in the cities, but they are when you get out and about.
Mm-hmm.
And Rincewind can feel the magic. He's a wizard, sorta.
Yeah.
And Twoflower's just delighted all the time. But Rincewind says, no, this is super magical here. And they're like, well, how do you know? He's like, toss a coin. And it's still in the air. And he says, edge. It lands, I think like 9 out of 10 land on the edge. The 10th one like snaps out into nothing. I mean, it's crazy.
Hrun is furious because that one was silver.
Hey, bring it back. The quote is, magic never dies, it merely fades away. So these places got hit big time in these old wars and still have a lot of that left, a vestige. And here we have some new characters. Liessa is a lady from inside the Wormberg. And she's spying on the hero, the wizard, and whatever Twoflower is.
The tourist.
And she's talking to her dad, who is dead. She killed him months ago, and he's still hanging around or slumping around. It's strange.
Apparently, it's the traditional way of coming to power. He's not upset about it.
No.
But he's also not leaving.
It's very magical there. But he's funny. He doesn't have a big role, but his view of time is very distorted because he's already dead. He sees both the future, present, and past like simultaneously. They get all jumbly.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit like Merlin.
The world building here is another fun one because this one is very different. And they describe these hooks, these rings that are on the ceiling. And they talk about these boots that, for example, Liessa will wear, where she can flip upside down, hook these boots to the rings, and walk across the ceiling. And it's on the ceilings that the dragons are.
It's because it's upside down. It's bigger the higher up you go.
Mm-hmm.
So they walk up these archways upside down to get to these dragons. The dragons are generated by a power. So she, being one of the current lords of dragons, she has some power to generate dragons. They're kind of small, but they can still fly.
Mm-hmm.
And they're super cool. And she has this team of men. But we get some of her thoughts where it'd be different if she had a man. She needs a man, a big, dumb one who's super dangerous. That hero might do. And if he doesn't, well, we can always feed the dragons.
She's got a plan.
So this name and the whole dragon thing, to me, is a nod to the Pern books, especially the first one. Even Isn't her name Lessa in the Pern books?
It is. And in here, in the book, they'll put like exclamation marks in the middle of the names. And in the Pern books, they use an apostrophe as an honorific for dragon riders.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a lot of these subtle little hints. And this is also a fairly... well, don't necessarily have your kids read this part of it. There's a lot of nudity, and there's some a little more lurid passages. And again, that's kind of a link to the Pern books as well.
And Conan.
And Conan.
There's a barbarian. So yeah, these dragons, they're solid, but they're kind of transparent when you look at them. And it's funny, she tempts her dragon with the wizard, like, oh, you can eat him. She's like, you're hungry right after you eat one. I mean, they're so not filling. This dragon doesn't even want to eat a wizard.
Yeah, he's disappointed in that.
But these dragons attack the men, and Haroon, our hero, he's annoyed because a lizard hurt him. And Twoflower is just delighted. I think it says he's entranced. There are dragons. He's always wanted to see a dragon. Rincewind runs away because that's what he does.
Effectively, he does run away.
It's funny because the sword ends up with Rincewind. It's got like stuck in a tree, and he's being hunted by this dragon and his rider. The sword hauls Rincewind back. He makes him be a hero, and it throws the dragon rider off, and he actually loses because it's confusing. The wizard is covering his eyes with his hands, and this sword is defeating him. It's hilarious.
I love the line where Rincewind says something to the effect of, I'm not a hero, and Kring, the sword, responds, I propose to teach you.
Doesn't really work, but he does beat that one guy.
He beats the one guy. They get on the dragon, and Kring's plan is, all right, let's go. Let's go attack. Let's go up and save people. And so he basically threatens to kill Rincewind if he doesn't do it, to cut off his own head. And so Rincewind gets on this dragon. They fly up to the Wormburg, and things do not go well for Rincewind at that point.
I like that the dragon rider offers him a candy for the ride. It's the traditional thing to offer a rider a candy to suck on for their first ride on a dragon. It's hilarious. It's like a plain snack.
Yeah.
But yeah, because he's clearly a hero, a dragon lord challenges him once they get into the Wormburg. Turns out Rincewind does not care for heights at all.
No.
And the spell is like creeping out of his mind, but he stuffs it down. He's battling this dragon lord upside down because of the hook boots. I mean, the whole thing is excellent. He just conveys it so well. And he's slipping out, and his ineptness at fighting actually works well because he grabs the dragon lord's like arm and he's falling down.
Yes.
He actually chooses to fall because they have crossbows. So Rincewind, again, is falling.
Runs away.
He's falling all the time. He's running, he's falling. And then we skip to Twoflower as Rincewind is falling.
Yeah, Twoflower and Haroon are actually together. They've been captured together, and Twoflower says kind of, what do you think's going to happen? And Haroon's like, I don't know. Some girl's probably going to come. I'll save someone. I'll kill some people. It'll be fine.
Yeah, all that. And he's like, oh yeah, that happens all the time. Actually, Twoflower too, he's like, well, it's all very civilized. I'm sure they'll let us go soon. He's got the wrong idea. Haroon had it right. The lady shows up and says, 3 challenges, and if you don't die, you will be made Lord of the Wormburg and my husband. And he just kills the guards for funsies.
Yeah.
Casually.
Practice.
And she's like, you going to kill me now? I'm like, oh, no. I was just
training, keeping in the habit.
So he goes off with the lady for these challenges, though he'll probably die. She thinks he'll die. Twoflower, he's sitting alone, imprisoned, and he's thinking about dragons. He just saw dragons, but these weren't quite what he expected.
They're a little disappointing. He's not disappointed by much. Usually he's just delighted in whatever he finds, but these are small and pale.
They were not what he was expecting when he heard of a dragon. But then there's a voice in his mind, and it says, you summoned me. In this place, the frontier between thought and reality is probably a little confused. All I know is that once I was not, and then you thought me, and then I was. Therefore, of course, I am yours to command. He conjures this immense green dragon. He has the power of dragon conjuring. I was so stoked for him.
It was really exciting. And this is a cool dragon because it's big. And this one, the fire breathing, let's just say the door doesn't stand a chance. He's out of that cell in a moment. The people that come after him, they're done. They're gone. It is great.
He names him 9 Reeds. It's like his name where it's a number and like a vegetation. Twoflower, 9 Reeds. They got like a thing there.
I'm just thinking about that now. I wonder if that has to do with the writing system, where if you had a symbol for like a reed and do 9 of them, I mean, that would be very much similar to like cuneiform writing or some of those. Anyway, sorry, just
9 Reeds.
the thought came up.
He's a very polite dragon, but he is immense and awesome. And he has 2 flowers to command. It's so great. So they go looking through this castle, basically, and they find the old king, the dead one, who can still talk.
The not fully late Gretcha the First.
And they have a chat.
Yeah, I guess the reason why he won't just die is, one, that he's a massively powerful wizard, enormously powerful, and he doesn't feel like his kids are up to the task. So one of them needs to take over. So whichever one can kill the other 2, because he's got 2 sons and 1 daughter, whoever can kill the other 2, well, then he'll finally go. But until that happens, they're just not to be trusted to run things. So he's going to stick around.
Yeah, it says that he can see everything that has happened or will happen, but it's all in that screwy order. So he tells Twoflower things that don't quite make sense or all out of order. And he says, "Your friend needs help. I admired the way you rescued him." Like it was past tense. Hasn't happened yet.
But that's comforting.
It is. So Twoflower heads out to help Rincewind, and the dragon's like, "You could fly, you know." So he gets to ride his dragon, 9 Reeds, and as Rincewind is falling from the hooks where he lost the fight and he's falling, Rincewind comes and saves him. It's interesting, on his way down, Rincewind says 7 out of 8 the words of his spell.
Mm-hmm.
But at that moment, he is rescued, the spell scattered and snuffed out. So you know most of it, but we still don't know what it does. We actually don't find out what it does in this book.
Mm-hmm.
That's book number 2.
Rincewind is now saved, but Twoflower now says we need to save Haroon. Rincewind is not so convinced. He's a hero. He'll be fine. And nor is he just excited to go back into danger. But Twoflower is going to do this. But meanwhile, Haroon the Barbarian has been busy because there were the 3 tasks.
2 of them are the brothers.
Oh, that's task 1 and task 2 are both of the brothers?
There's 3. There's the girl who recruits him,
mm-hmm.
and then the 2 brothers. The 2 brothers are the first 2 tasks. And he says, "I challenge you both at the same time," because he's a hero. And this is hilarious. One of the guys from the Wyrmberg says, "It is forbidden to fight on the killing ground."
And then there's a pause. Like, oh
yeah. It's like Dr. Strangelove, right?
"Gentlemen, you can't fight in here. This is the war room."
No fighting in the war room. Exactly like that. But the challenged get to choose their weapons. And the 2 brothers choose dragons as their weapons.
Cunning. Crafty.
But this is a hero. He wins. I mean, it's amazing.
It really is.
So it turns out when these guys, if they lose consciousness, the dragon goes away.
Mm-hmm.
They're conjured by, just like the girl, they conjure these dragons. So he knocks one out, amazingly, dragon gone. Takes care of the other one, boom, boom. And then Haroon is offered to stay. And he thinks it through, which is impressive for a hero. They don't think a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But he goes through his life and how it's all the same. And it says life had really left him with little more than a reputation and a network of scars. She says, "I'm challenge number 3. You will become Lord of the Wyrmberg and my lawful husband."
Mm-hmm.
And he's derpy happy. He gets a glass of wine. At that moment, Twoflower rescues him.
To the rescue.
And they go off on this massive dragon. He is so mad at Twoflower.
It's great. But Twoflower's excited because he saved him, and he can't hear anything on this dragon as it's flying through the air. Well, when they look back, though, Liesa is not willing to just let this go. She grabs a spear, hops on her conjured dragon, and starts chasing after him. And then all of a sudden, crossbow bolts start flying. Twoflower is being hunted, and eventually he gets knocked unconscious. We just learned that if the person who summoned the dragon loses focus or gets knocked unconsciousness, the dragon goes away. And so once again, we have Rincewind plummeting. We have Twoflower plummeting. We have Liesa coming up and saving Haroon, and they kiss and fly off together. But we have our two main heroes really struggling.
They're falling through the sky, and then there's this ripple of paradox, and it's weird. I would prefer to skip it.
All right. They end up in an airplane. Somehow Rincewind disarms a bomb, but then it blows up anyway. Like you say, it's strange. And when all is said and done, they are essentially out in the ocean.
The sea of causality, which is why it's weird to begin with. The idea is that these dimensions overlap, and it's just this bewildering scene where they're existing in an airplane like they're on Earth, but also there. It's really confusing, but the luggage is still there. The best part is that the luggage has an airplane sticker because it's luggage. He got a sticker. And then they fall into the sea, and they use the luggage as a raft. I did not love that bit.
I agree. And so I think what we can take from this is that you can love a story. You don't necessarily have to love all parts of the story. Maybe there's somebody out there that's their favorite part of this book.
Sure.
And good on you. I'd be curious why. To me, I just found it confusing and a little jarring. But we're back in Discworld now, and we're in the sea with the luggage, and things aren't going well. And so it's kind of back to normal.
You get the sense that some time has passed, though. So Rincewind and Twoflower have gotten to know each other a little bit better, but we don't start with them. We start in a city, another city, and this one is called Kroll. It's on the very edge of Discworld. Remember how we talked about the rim fall around? This one is off the water, off the sea, and very close to the edge of the whole world. And they have a master inventor who creates a great mechanical flying fish. And it's very beautiful, but the intention, as you said earlier, all these studies were done amongst the wizards. Well, on the planet, there are philosophers and scientists, and they want to know where the turtle's going. They think about it. What's he going to do when he gets there? Is he going to fight? Is he going to mate? I mean, if he's going to mate, I say he. They don't know the gender of the turtle. This machine, this crazy, talented inventor has made, is designed to go off the edge into space. I'll just read the quote of the commission. He was commissioned to design a fish that would swim through the seas of space that lie between the worlds. They want to go at the optimal time, optimal moment to check and see what gender the turtle is.
Because they find this important.
I mean, if it's going to mate, I don't see why it matters one way or the other, but...
Me neither, but this is part of the mystery of Discworld. We are not philosophers at their level.
No. I do like that they have this machine, and it's going to be equipped with cello knots.
Yeah.
They're turtle voyagers. Oh my gosh. And the spaceship itself is called the Potent Voyager, which is the most hilarious name because they think he's going to a turtle mating ground. But the leader, I think it's called the Arch Astronomer, he says that they need the appropriate sacrifices and that the ocean shall provide them. And that is when we pop back over to Rincewind and Twoflower in the water.
Yeah. I guess there's been other adventures that we've missed. They were captured by somebody and they managed to escape.
Pirates.
But without their luggage.
Yeah, the luggage is temporarily gone. And Rincewind says, I'd rather be a slave than a corpse. And Twoflower says, nothing is worse than slavery. They're always a little opposed. At some point, Rincewind says, why can't you ever worry about anything? And later on, Twoflower says, why do you always panic? I mean, they're kind of the flip side of a coin.
It is not long before they come to the circumference.
Well, they get pulled toward the edge. The circumference is the outward rim of a circle, right? The circumference. They're getting pulled irrevocably toward this edge. Like fish can't swim. I mean, they're trying to swim against it, but they make no progress. It's actually sweet. Rincewind sees this frog struggling in the water, in the current, and he pulls this frog out onto their makeshift raft. The frog actually bites him thoughtfully, but he tucks it in his pocket, and Twoflower is always excited. He's like, we're going over the edge. Perhaps we'll just sail on through space and land in another world. He is so excited at the prospect.
And the edge of the world is beautiful. We talked about the rainbow. And again, there's a whole nother color here, that 8th color. And here at the edge of the world, they actually get to see it. Well, Rincewind, as a wizard, gets to see it. And I just really loved this line. It was the king color, of which all the lesser colors are merely partial and wishy-washy reflections. It was octarine, the color of magic. It was alive and glowing and vibrant, and it was the undisputed pigment of the imagination, because whatever it appeared, it was a sign that mere matter was a servant of the powers of the magical mind. It was enchantment itself. But Rincewind always thought that it looked sort of a greenish purple.
It's beautiful. So yes, they're being pulled against this current. They cannot resist, but they are caught on the circumfence. And there's some discussion about, oh, you mean circumference? No, I mean the circumfence. It's this net on the edge of the world. And Rincewind doesn't want to look and see who's talking. Somebody caught them. Somebody's talking behind him. He doesn't want to know. Twoflower likes the guy automatically. Turns out it is a sea troll.
And I love this character. I had never come across one quite like this before. A lot of the races and species and characters in the books are you find in other mythology, but I don't know that I've ever seen one quite like this. The closest I can come to is the episode of Futurama, My Three Sons, with the water people. This sea troll is essentially made of water.
I thought of Moana and how the water, the ocean, is characterized in it, because you can see fish going through. This troll freaks Rincewind out. He's like, why doesn't he spill? What holds it together? You can see fish swimming through it. It's entirely made of water. But he has a name, and he's very decent.
Yeah.
But he's a prisoner of this land of Kroll, but they, as slaves, they enforce this net, this circumfence, and they catch all manner of things in this current that's falling off the edge of the world. It's his job to maintain it. There's a system of bells and pulleys. It's really cute, actually.
I like that system, yeah.
Turns out that this guy, his name is Tethys, if you wondered, but he's a sea troll. But he ebbs and flows with the tide. So
he's a little embarrassed about it.
They call him out. He's like, that was rude.
You're made of dirt.
I didn't say anything. It's very funny. And but they're talking about how they're on the edge. And yes, you guys clearly will be made slaves as well. And Rincewind thinks about jumping off because they're on the edge of the world. And he looks over the edge. He sees like a piece of a tusk. Or is it a flipper? I mean, you can see it. It's down there. And the sea troll tells him, I don't think you have the courage. He's like, I've never gotten up the courage. And I don't even want to be here. He fell off another world.
Yes. He is an alien on Discworld. Apparently, his race can survive freezing, which is good because as he fell through space, he did. And he talks about some of the other worlds he flew by, and they're fun. I like the one that he said at first he thought it was mountains all around the edge, and then he realized it was a dragon biting its own tail around the edge. There's a world serpent in that world. And so, but yeah, and now he's a slave of the Kroll, and he is there to do his job.
And Rincewind does not jump. And Twoflower is just stoked to know that there's so many worlds out there that he hasn't seen. And I love this line. This is Twoflower. He says, "Sometimes I think a man could wander across the disc all his life and not see everything there is to see. And now it seems there are lots of other worlds as well. When I think I might die without seeing 100th of all there is to see, it makes me feel, well, humble, I suppose. And very angry, of course."
I don't usually associate anger with Twoflower.
I don't think he's. I cannot imagine him saying it in any kind of angry way.
Can we talk about the drink that is offered to them by the sea troll? Because as you say, he's a very decent individual. He tries to take care of them and help them, and he offers them a drink because stuff gets washed up to the circumference. And I will spell it. It's Glen, Glen. Second word, livid, Livid. So if you say it together, it is Glenlivid. As a fan of Scotch, this just makes sense. Because Glenlivet is one of the great Scotches, but this is Glenlivid. Rincewind doesn't care for it.
Well, he's like, I hope this is drinkable, because I'm going to drink it. But it's green and strange, and they give etymology of the name where it comes from, like the volnut or something. I don't know.
They describe the different plants. There's different kinds of plants in Discworld. There's annuals, right, which you plant and they come up in a year. There's perennials, which you plant and they come up again year after year. And then there's reannuals, which it says because of an unusual four-dimensional twist in their genes, could be planted this year to come up last year. So you have plants that are growing retroactively. And this is where the Glenlivid comes from.
I love that, actually. There's also a side story as Rincewind and Twoflower are talking to the sea troll. It says 70 miles away, there's a pirate ship. And those pirates are panicking. It's funny, it says they're on the dehydrated ocean. That's its name, which is weird, but the fish are weirder. It's great descriptions. But this pirate captain, he's terrified. And he says those men that drown, they're luckier than the ones that are still on board. They are running off this ship because of the luggage. The luggage is looking for his master. He's destroying this pirate ship, and he is on his way to find Twoflower.
Yes, there is no stopping him.
That thing is terrifying.
Rincewind and Twoflower, the unwilling guests of the sea troll, are convinced that they're about to be taken into captivity and made slaves. And the sea troll says, well, yeah, it's not a big deal. They'll probably cut out your tongue. And
commonplace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it turns out that that's not what happens. The sea troll gets a message through that banging bell clanging system, and he says, wow, I guess you guys are more important than I thought. And all of a sudden, this disc ship comes to get them. And I love this. The way this ship is propelled, and Rincewind knows this immediately.
He's a wizard.
He's a wizard.
Yeah.
He is amazed by the magic expenditure that is going into coming to get them. This disc is flying over the surface of the water because strapped to the bottom are a bunch of wizards who are hydrophobes. They are trained from birth, and not just trained, but conditioned to loathe water, to be repulsed by it. And so they're on the bottom, and that repulsion causes this thing to fly and float. It says they don't live very long, since they're mostly water. They just hate themselves. It's just ridiculous.
It's very good. They make them hover off the water. But yeah, apparently they're very rare and expensive. So it's a big deal that they are coming to get these two random guys in the ocean. Once they get on board and they're being taken to the city of Kroll, the one in charge is afraid of Rincewind.
Yeah.
She knows who he is. She feels threatened by him. And Twoflower, this, I think, is where he really learns that, wait, you're not a wizard? He's like, well, I am. I'm just a failed one. You know, I got kicked out.
Yeah.
But she, the lead Crowleyan, I don't know what to call her.
We'll go with that. Crowley.
she's terrified of that spell in Rincewind's mind. She knows about it, and she tells him that basically you can't retain other magic when that thing is in there.
Yeah. She's also just amazed by the fact that he survived.
Yeah.
She's got a point. I mean, her line here is, "We know all about you, Rincewind the magician. You are a man of great cunning and artifice. You laugh in the face of death. Your affected air of craven cowardice does not fool me." Rincewind does not think he's affecting this at all. He just thinks he's a craven coward.
Legit, yeah. And she reassures them that your lives in Kroll will actually be rich and comfortable, just not very long. They are to be sacrificed the next day. They get this royal treatment, this disc with these hydrophobes, and they are taken to this beautiful room. Twoflower's delighted. There's good food, and they're very specific about the seafood. It's very funny.
It reminds me of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea with Captain Nemo's table. The landsmen are eating down there, and it's all this stuff that looks like real food, and it's like, no, that's sea cucumber, that's, milk from an octopus, that's all these things. And, the one guy is just stoked, like Twoflower. He's like, oh, this is great. And the other guy was like, oh, I thought that was
real food.
Yeah.
But turns out the Grand Master, the guard guy, he too is a magician. He tells them that they have been specified. Like, it's not enough that 2 guys get sacrificed. It is you 2. The guardsman, he uses the word comparatively often. He says, you're going to live, well, comparatively. Because you're going to be killed tomorrow. Yeah. Rincewind tries to fight back. I think he throws a bottle at the guard. And this guy has magic. He actually pins Rincewind and the bottle in midair.
Yeah, he freezes it in the air. And it's an impressive display of magic.
It is. And they say, sleep well, comparatively, because you're going to die tomorrow. So, and Rincewind is stuck. And here is where he asks Twoflower, like, why don't you ever worry? He's like, well, we got good food here. We're doing okay. Not dead yet. And here's where that frog that Rincewind saved, he had it in his pocket that whole time. He takes this frog out. It becomes the lady. And he almost says her name. It starts with an L. And she said, don't say my name. If you say my name, you know I have to leave. He's a wizard. He should have known. Clearly, she is Lady Luck.
Isn't that great?
It is. Lady Fortune, Lady Luck. I mean, we've done a bunch of stories where the idea of being exceptionally lucky really helps. Luck and wits. Rincewind is like unlucky lucky. Chance in a million. That's she's got her eye on him. And here's a quote. She says, she was the goddess who must not be named. Like Voldemort, must not be named. Those who sought her never found her, yet she was known to come to the aid of those in greatest need. And then again, sometimes she didn't. She was like that. She was the most courted and most cursed of all the gods. She liked the clicking of dice. She likes gamblers. That's kind of what Rincewind does all the time unintentionally.
Yeah.
So he's lucky unlucky or unlucky lucky, depending how you look at it. If you're Twoflower or him.
Yeah. And the lady this goes back to that board game. They're still playing. The lady is playing against fate. And what she tells them is basically, well, I can't save you. I'm not going to make this all go away. But what I can give you is a chance. So a toss of the dice, she's going to give the opportunity for luck.
And here's where she tells them where the spaceship is going. Off the edge. Because the Krollians want to know what gender the turtle is. She also tells them that fate himself picked you 2 as the sacrifices. So he put them into the circumfence. He made all these things actually work out so that they could be the sacrifices. They've got a target on their back from fate.
The next scene, fate actually goes to Death's home. He goes and has a little meeting with Death to make sure that the wizard and the tourist are going to die. And you can kind of sense that Death is over it at this point. There have been so many times where he's thought he had them and they get away. He doesn't seem as excited and doesn't seem to care as much about this as fate does.
Well, he says, I'll get him in the end. He's a little more fatalist. Sooner or later, it's going to happen. So he kind of doesn't make the deal with fate. He frustrates fate. And he's awfully busy. It describes Death's horse and that he's not an unkind master because even though his words are very heavy, he doesn't weigh anything at all. So no work for his horse. It's a great interaction.
It really is.
But Lady Luck says, yes, you get one chance. You got to take advantage of it, though. And this is where the guards come into the room to take them to be sacrificed. And suddenly that bottle that was stuck in the air crashes on the head of one of the guards. Rincewind takes the chance. He attacks the other one. Twoflower gets on board.
Oh, yeah.
He spits on one. These are hydrophobes. Super effective.
It really works.
And they run. And they run into a room, and it says it contains the whole universe. In my mind, it's like an amphitheater.
Mm-hmm.
What are those? Oh, planetarium, where you can
Yes.
see the stars. But this is the whole universe decorated. Twoflower is just so happy. They just went in a random room, and it is amazing.
Yeah, and unlike the planetarium where it's a projection, this is all crafted. It's a model, but it's crafted of jewels and pearls, and it's just beauty everywhere. And there are 2 suits, 2 garments hanging in the middle of the room, each with a helmet.
Spacesuits.
They point out the helmet wouldn't even stand up to even sort of a mild blow from a sword, so what's the point? So Rincewind is not thinking spacesuit at this point, but he gets this sense that, oh, dang,
Oh, no.
I'm going to need to go in that.
Here's a quote. It says, whoever would be wearing those suits was expecting to boldly go where no man, other than the occasional luckless sailor who didn't really count, had boldly gone before. He puts it together. Like, they're going in those. Those are the space suits.
The Chilanaut suits.
And Twoflower is like, yes!
Yeah!
And he convinces, they knock out these 2 guys. They put on the 2 suits to hide. And Twoflower's like, why do you always panic? We have these perfect hiding spots here. We knocked out these guys. And it's at that moment that Rincewind thinks in his mind, like, oh, someone's up there looking out for me. And he's like, thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Talking to Lady Luck. Oh, they're hiding in these spacesuits.
This next part is just insane. Rincewind wants nothing to do with this. He just wants to run away. He wants to escape. But where can he go? There's really nowhere he can run to. So the 2 of them start walking out in this path towards this flying fish, this device that's going to launch off the edge of the Discworld. Meanwhile, the arch astronomer, who is quite the skilled magician, notices they're walking weird. I mean, normally heroes stride purposefully. He says one of these guys is waddling, and he starts to think, well, this isn't right.
That's so weird.
And so he starts to work spells to come after them, but he doesn't get to finish because there's another really important character that shows up. Enter the luggage.
The luggage has been tailing them. And it turns out he went out to where the sea troll was, and he followed the hydrophobe disc plane back. And there's a disturbance because there's guards everywhere, and the luggage is just destroying them. It's covered in seaweed. You can't even identify what it is. But there's so many magicians in Kroll, they let loose. There's this dome of magic and fire and smoke, and Twoflower's like, oh, poor luggage. And Rincewind's like, no, it'll be fine. It says it's totally impervious to all kinds of magic. Charms curved and whistled through the air. All it does is take the seaweed off of it. And it's coming straight for the head of the Krollians, the arch astronomer.
Yeah, he describes this so well. He says that, it didn't have eyes, but he could sense that its eyes narrowed. I mean, it was coming for him. Fortunately for the arch astronomer, it never gets to him because Twoflower summons it and he runs to be with his master. And there's this kind of confusing scene here where the lid opens up and they just see water, because that's weird. Because always before, everything was perfectly dry. The socks stayed dry. No matter how many things he ate, it didn't mess with the contents, but it's soaking wet. Well, It's the sea troll. The luggage had eaten the sea troll and now spits him out, and the socks remain dry when it opened the lid again. So now you have Rincewind, Twoflower, and the sea troll. Everyone's coming after them, and they're climbing into this ship. Twoflower is excited. Rincewind just wants to run away.
He's stalling. He's still on the outside. But this spaceship is designed to automatically trigger at the optimal moment to see the gender of Tatooine. And it's like a roller coaster track in my mind where they hear this little click and this salmon flying fish machine goes down the tracks and it flips up at the end. So it really looks beautiful, like a flying fish off the edge of the world.
Mm-hmm.
It says that Rincewind only had one thing left to do, and that was to panic blindly. He's not in the ship. That's actually where it says the end.
Yeah. I was confused by that at first because there's more. There's more written after that, but that is kind of the end of the story.
This is the segue to book number 2, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
Rincewind is not in the ship. He gets caught on a tree on the edge of the world. No one has ever been there before. It says that he's actually entranced. That's the word they uses for Twoflower. Finally, Rincewind is entranced by something that he's never seen or heard of. He was, in fact, the first man ever to see the rim fishers. They're these beautiful birds that fish on the rimfall, inside the waterfall. Nobody's ever seen them. It says they're iridescent as jewels. It's just beautiful there. Mm-hmm. And then Death shows up. Personally, because he's a wizard.
And this scene is great because Death says, I've come for you. And he says, well, what am I dying of? And Death responds, well, you could die of terror. No.
Nope way.
It's a fake death. It's not death. Scrofula was assigned this task, and that's not Death. And as a wizard, he needs Death to come and take him. And so there's this wonderful interchange between the two, and we are left with a massive cliffhanger as Rincewind is just hanging out in this tree with Scrofula staring at him.
Scrofula is going to murder him. He's like, that's not fair. That can't do that. You're not Death. He swings the scythe at him, and Rincewind falls. He falls belly down into the universe.
It's a weird place for the book to end.
I read that Terry Pratchett, he didn't think this was going to be a series. Did we mention that earlier? The next one didn't come out for 3 years, I think. He didn't expect it to be liked, but then people loved it, and he had to come up with a sequel. So I wonder if they tucked that part at the end when he decided that there was going to be a sequel.
That seems likely to me.
Mm-hmm.
I love this book. I didn't know what to expect when I started it, and it certainly wasn't this, but I just enjoyed it. I chuckled all through it. It was funny. I've spent a lot of time thinking about how I would compare this to the other books that I truly love. And it finally made sense to me when I realized this is satire. That this isn't meant to be, something on the level of The Lord of the Rings or these kinds of things. It's humor. It's fun. It's enjoyable. It's satire. But even with that, he did just phenomenal world building. And I love world building. And he did some really fun characters that you root for and enjoy. And so it's been truly a joy to have this book specifically, but Discworld even larger as a part of my life because, well, Death is just great. And he keeps getting better as the books go on.
Yeah, there's a book called Death and one called Mort that are both about him. I do need to read more of them because I had no idea there were so many. So this is the Wizard series. Do you know the other ones? I think they're in my book.
I don't know all the names of the series, but I've read stuff on, there's the Weird Sisters, which are the witches of Discworld. There's the whole Hogfather series. Hogfather is his kind of spin-off of Christmas. There's the Guards Guard series. So there's several books based off of the city guards of Ankh-Morpork. There's the Going Postal. There's one called Thud, which actually I think goes back to the police in Ankh-Morpork, the guards. There's a lot of them.
Yeah, here I have a key in my book. It says these are different series. The Wizards, the Witches, Death, the City Watch, Moist von Lipwig,
I don't remember that one.
Tiffany Aching, and Standalones. And then there is non-Discworld works as well. But I really like this when it's talking about the author at the end of my book. It says that he was knighted by the Queen Elizabeth II, for services to literature, knighted in 2009, although he always wryly maintained that his greatest service to literature was to avoid writing any. But yeah, the creativity, for me, it's that idea that this is a different world and anything can happen.
Mm-hmm.
He uses that so well. So creative. And I love that there's beautiful stuff in it, and it's also just comical. It's kind of a comforting kind of book to read, and a really fun story.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to wrap this up with the final lines of the addendum after it says the end. The whole of creation was waiting for Rincewind to drop in. He did so. There didn't seem to be any alternative. And with that, we'll turn the page, and we hope you join us for the next chapter.